Absolute mess. And I'll be honest with you, babes, I'm not sure that we're gonna see any real change in this game for a long time. So patch 1.3 is here for Elden Ring, and it actually fixes a lot of the game's issues. I'll be honest with you, I'll be fiddle-fucked. I did not think that From Software was gonna be so quick on the draw with this shit, but it looks like they're turning over a new leaf when it comes to actually supporting their games and fixing a lot of the issues that players are running into, so that's fucking awesome. Alright, so let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this shit. So the first couple things I'm gonna go over is some PvE changes. They've added a function to record the name of an NPC that you encounter on the map wherever you found them. They've added a new NPC, which is a new pothead, a new jar, and they've added new quest phases for most of the NPCs that didn't get one in the launch version of the game. So shit like Alexander or Kenneth Height. I know all of you are really looking forward to the finishing up the quest line of Kenneth Height. But yeah, a lot of the NPCs got their quest lines finished up, and I can only imagine they shipped the game like that because A, they didn't think people were gonna neck sweat the game so hardcore to do everything within the first 2 weeks, or they did that to help extend the game's longevity as far as its hype goes, or maybe they just weren't ready, I don't know. But now you can finish up some loose ends if you thought there were any. If you noticed that a questline didn't really get wrapped up as much as you'd like, you can now go finish that, so that's fucking awesome. They've added some more summonable NPCs. You can transform into more shit using the Mimic's Veil, aka the White Tree branch. And they've added some really pretty night background music for some of the open world areas, so we're really getting Breath of the Wild now. They fixed a lot of bugs. I'm gonna kind of like just skim through and get the shit that's really important to the PvP junkheads here, some really big PvE changes. The biggest change that they've made is that you can no longer use the Deathblight builds. You can no longer use Deathblight. You can't use it with Flame's Deadly Sin, you can't use it with the Deathbed Dress, you can't use Flame's Deadly Sin to turn the giant Tree Sentinel shield into an AC 130. You can't do any of that shit anymore, it's all gone, so big fucking handshakes to all of my vulgar militiamen and everyone else in the community that abused the fuck out of that because we got it fixed. That's the reason that shit gets fixed, is because of people like us abusing the fuck out of it. So, big fucking firm handshakes and slaps on the ass all around. Good work, everybody. The most broken build in the game is now gone, so that's pretty fucking cool. They fixed some balancing issues with Eleanor's Pole Blade and the Rivers of Blood. They actually scale correctly now, and they are so fucking strong. You see, me and my friends actually thought Rivers of Blood and Eleanor's Pole Blade weren't meant to scale, because they were already so strong as it was. We didn't think that they really needed the scaling on top of that. But apparently that's not what From Software thought, and now they do scale, and they are extremely fucking strong. Moonveil got like a shadow nerf. It's not mentioned in the patch notes, but Moonveil does slightly less damage now than it did before, so that's pretty fucking cool. They've also fixed the issue where +9 weapons were stronger than +10 weapons in the past. Now the change between +9 and +10 is still minuscule, but they have fixed it, technically. It's just a really small increase in damage, but it is there. It is fixed, so that's another good change. Now time for a couple of changes that I didn't really expect. They've nerfed Hoarfrost Stomp and Bloody Slash. Hoarfrost Stomp's damage has been reduced and the cast time has been increased. Bloody Slash's self-inflicted damage is now greater, the cast time is longer, and the damage is slightly lower, which is a really big change because Bloody Slash is one of the strongest early game Ashes of War in the game. Another big thing that they've nerfed is the Sword of Night and Flame. The Sword of Yo and Mama has been reduced. That's one with the giant Gazer Beam, the Death Star Beam, and the big flame swath that everyone likes to use. That's been nerfed. And I think it's only really the damage, though. I think that's really only the damage on that sword that's been reduced. And probably the biggest surprise to me, is they have increased the effectiveness of sorceries across the fucking board. Don't think they need it. Don't think sorceries needed a buff. Now, I think miracles like faith shit should have been buffed. All these fucking dudes casting their Jesus juice over here can just remain useless, I guess, and sorcery's just gonna get ascended to an even higher pedestal. But sorceries have been buffed pretty much across the fucking board. And there are a ton a ton of little issues, like shields are more effective, there's a lot of like weapon and balance changes. Well, we're gonna have to see just how in-depth that gets. The ragged set that was in the game has been removed. Apparently we weren't supposed to have that. That's a big no-no. Papa Miyazaki says no to having the fucking... to having the ragged set. Iron Flesh, I can't remember what its name is in this game, like what the equivalent, I think it's called like Fire Spermy or something. But Iron Flesh has been buffed, evidently. And yeah, just really good changes across the board here. That's the meat and potatoes of this update. If you want to read more, like really deep dive into all the nitty gritty tiny changes and suck on the fucking titty of these patch notes, I will leave a link in the description for you to go off and read, but that's really the biggest changes. That's the meat and potatoes, that's the biscuits and gravy, the peas and carrots, the peaches and cream. That's the biggest stuff with this patch. And it's a really, really good sign. It's a really, really good step in the right direction. Now, they haven't fixed a lot of the other big issues in the game. One of the things I'm surprised they didn't really touch on was Madness, because Madness is really strong. I don't think they really touched on how Bleed procs or how effective it is, or Scarlet Rot. I didn't read anything in the notes myself. Maybe you guys will see something that I just missed because I'm stupid. But there are a couple other things I'm surprised they didn't touch on. And there are some really broken things that I'm not going to talk about in this video. There will be other videos on that I'm surprised they didn't fix. But it's such a good step in the right direction. Really, really sets a good precedent. If there's more of this to come, this is really good. This is really solid stuff here. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope all of you have enjoyed me poorly reading the Bandai Namco Elden Ring patch notes. And yeah, that's it. See ya.